we've done this for a couple different rivalries, but I want us to take it out to Alabama and talk about the current state of the Iron Bowl and what's going on out there. Now, obviously, Nick Saban, no longer part of this rivalry, but this is a rivalry that just always has a way of getting weird, regardless of who the head coach is. But you subtract Nick Saban from it, and I think there's a little bit more it's weird to say excitement, but I think there's maybe a little bit more excitement for at least Auburn fans around it than there was previously. You look at both programs, though, both Alabama and Auburn, a year ago to me, and a couple years for Auburn, weren't totally settled. Like, hand up, I thought Auburn would be way more together than they were this past season. Wasn't the case. Alabama, though, as much as people want to knock DeBoer and say what he hasn't done, whatever, coming off a year where, yes, by Bama standards, underachieved, but didn't have a fit at quarterback for what he had, did not have his offensive coordinator that typically is the guy that he's had the most success with in Ryan Grubb. And Ryan Williams, I love Ryan Williams, but he was the go-to guy. He had 8 of Jalen Milroe's touchdown catches, and Jalen Milroe only threw 16 touchdowns. So I'm not excusing it, but I am saying now, you look at what they have coming in, second-year guy on defense, all right, better continuity, I would say, on that side of the football, so that'll improve. Also some young bucks that'll have a little bit more time in the saddle from Xavier Brown. Like, they're going to be in a better spot there. You talk about a better fit at quarterback. We'll see who it is, but I don't think it's irresponsible to assume that whoever it is, whether it's Keelan Russell, Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, whoever it is, fits a little bit more of the mold of what Kalen DeBoer wants that offense to be. We've said this stat a lot, but I'll say it one more time. Jalen Milroe previously came into this system last year averaging 20 attempts a game. Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, historically speaking, would like to be closer to that 40 attempts a game. That's what they've averaged over the course of the last couple of seasons before they got to Alabama and Ryan Grubb coming to Bama this season. So the opportunity for Bama, in my mind, is a chance to almost reassert yourself as like that team in this rivalry and reassert what this Bama brand is, what the logo is. That's not saying it took a knock last year, but there is now some questions if I'm a college football fan, like, hey, what's Bama going to be under Kalen DeBoer? Last year is last year. The portal is the portal, and the portal bodied Alabama in a lot of ways when Nick Saban retired. What are they going to be, though, when Kalen DeBoer gets his feet underneath them? In the context of this rivalry, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, because for Auburn now, they've been working to get to a place where they can be steady since Hugh Freeze got there. There was a reason why they went so heavily to the portal the last 2 cycles. This past cycle, they still had some good quantity, but not nearly as much as before. They kept their defensive coordinator, DJ Durkin. You go get a different quarterback in Jackson Arnold with a ton of potential. Cam Coleman, who I don't think it's a stretch to say your best player on your roster from a pure talent perspective, gets another year better. There's a lot there where you just say, okay, this should be the year where things get a little bit more aligned. I'm not saying you win the SEC, but there should be some real forward progress here. I think Auburn's been fighting to get back to neutral for the better part of the last couple of years. I mean, since Hugh Freeze got there, I think they're now at neutral. And so the exciting thing for me with the things that we're looking to see from Bama, the things we're looking to see from Auburn, what I hope as a guy who just has no dog in the fight but loves to see a good college football game, loves to see a good college football rivalry, I hope we get to a place now where the Iron Bowl has more juice nationally. Like, if you're an Auburn fan or a Bama fan, it doesn't matter to you. They could play this game tomorrow in a parking lot, and we're all dialed in. It'll mean everything in the world to both fan bases. That's a beautiful thing. That's why we love college football. But I do think it was a little bit special the last couple of years when Michigan-Ohio State became a marquee game, whether you were an Arkansas fan, whether you were a Wisconsin fan, whoever you were a fan of, Michigan-Ohio State, that was to punch a ticket to the college football playoff. Like, that was a massive game. And that rivalry in itself, getting to have that kind of national exposure, as a college football sicko / college football hopeless romantic, I loved that for all of us, because everybody got to see what Ann Arbor, Michigan was at its best when Ohio State came to town. Vice versa. You roll into the shoe, and we did for, I guess it was the 2022 game, we got to go see what that environment was like when Michigan rolls into town for a college football playoff ticket to be punched, essentially. That's awesome. That's special. So if we could take that kind of spotlight, even put some of that now on this rivalry, like Nick Saban, yes, this game was always a bit, it's always a weird game. I'm not saying that Nick Saban was perfect in this game. I think it was 12-5 overall. My point being, if Auburn can bring some more juice to the table here, and they can maybe formulate a little bit more of what we thought they were going to be from last season and have that play out, I think that'd be awesome. Because I think at that point, then everybody has more attention on the Iron Bowl and Alabama being Alabama. Like, I think that would be a lot of fun. So the better impact, the more juice, the more stakes, I'm here for it. It'll mean everything in the world to both fan bases, period, and that's the beauty of college football, like I said. But as much as we can juice up the Iron Bowl nationally, I'd be here for that. And now with the door a little bit more opened, with seeing what Bama's going to be and no more Nick Saban and all that, and Auburn, you would hope kind of getting things rolling now. Both programs have the arrow pointing up. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I think it'll be good stuff for the health of college football as a sport.